Robyn and I found our dream home on the other side of town, and it was a little too expensive. And we watched that price come down until we decided to make an offer on it. So we made an offer, but that offer requires that we sell the home that we're living in right now. So we're scrambling to pack ourselves so we prepare this house to sell. And because that's got to happen. We have to sell this house to buy that.
This new episode of Sister Wives might honestly be the dullest one yet. After 15 years of watching this show, that's saying a lot. The entire hour felt dragged out and empty. It started with Meri and her friends having an overly long, awkward conversation about eggplants, a topic no one needed to hear about. Whether she wants to eat it, talk about it, or make jokes about it, I couldn't care less. The whole thing felt forced and uncomfortable, like filler content meant to stretch time. I found myself rolling my eyes, waiting for something meaningful to happen. Then came the tornado storyline. Tornadoes are genuinely terrifying if you've ever lived through one. When I was 5 years old, back in 1984, an F3 tornado tore through my hometown. It was April 26th, and what began as an ordinary day turned into pure chaos. My parents were away in Europe, and I was home with a babysitter. There were no warnings, no sirens, no alerts, just a sudden, violent storm. The sky turned dark, and the wind began to howl. Our windows shattered one after another. We had no time to get to the basement, so my babysitter pushed me behind the couch and shielded me with her body. It lasted only about 8 minutes, but it felt like forever. When it was over, everything looked different. A woman just a block and a half away died, and the houses on the next street were completely flattened. Ours was still standing, but all the windows were gone, and we had to cover them with trash bags. Power was out for days, maybe longer. This was long before cell phones, so everyone in the neighborhood used our landline to call their families. I'll never forget the fear, the silence afterward, and the community lining up just to make one call. Watching the Sister Wives tornado scene brought all of that back. But instead of feeling real or emotional, it seemed staged. The cast was driving right into the storm, which made no sense. When your windshield is getting hit by hail and cracking, you pull over and take cover. You don't keep driving. Then they decided to go to a Best Western and park under an awning, which is one of the worst places to hide during a tornado. You should always get as low as possible and away from heavy structures that can collapse. What also seemed strange was how conveniently they ended up in the same place as Christine and David. It felt planned, not spontaneous. The hail damage to their car didn't look like real tornado destruction either, more like typical storm damage. If it had truly been a tornado, their windows would have blown out completely. And why keep driving afterward with a cracked windshield? That's dangerous and unrealistic. So between Meri's awkward eggplant talk, the exaggerated tornado drama, and Kody and Robyn's house hunting scenes, this episode didn't deliver anything meaningful. It was slow, repetitive, and overproduced, another reminder that Sister Wives has lost the raw, authentic storytelling it once had. I end this episode. Everything about Kody and Robyn's new house felt like an attempt to rewrite their story and make themselves look deserving of luxury. From the start, it's clear they couldn't afford this property without selling their old one. They signed the contract in August 2024, planning to put down around $420,000 to $500,000. The house had been sitting on the market since February, 6 long months, which is very unusual for Flagstaff, where even expensive homes sell fast. The reason wasn't just the price. The property's location near a mine made it less appealing. Originally, the house was listed at $1.9 million, but Kody and Robyn shockingly offered $200,000 above asking, paying $2.1 million in total. Who does that? It made no sense, especially since overbidding can cause issues with appraisals later. They told viewers they couldn't qualify for the loan unless they sold their existing house, which simply means they didn't have the cash ready and had to rely on their home's equity. When you buy that way, the sale of your first home must close before you can finalize the next purchase. After paying taxes, agent fees, and closing costs, they likely pocketed only a few $100,000, hardly the image of financial stability they try to project. Then came the house tour, And that's where the delusion really took off. Kody walked around calling everything opulent, talking about how perfect it would be for grandkids and family gatherings. He described the extra garage as space for his projects, though we all know it's not for anyone else. Robyn joined in, saying how the house would be great for their children and future grandkids to visit, as if that ever happens. The truth is, they never invited the older kids to the previous house. Even Robyn once admitted her home wasn't open to them. So why would this one be any different? The house itself is massive, about 5,600 square feet in the main area, plus a 2,200 square foot guest house. It has 4 main bedrooms and another room that could double as an office or extra bedroom. As Kody walked through, he brought up Truly, Christine's daughter, as if he was trying to appear thoughtful, maybe to fix his image for the cameras. He talked about having a special space for her if she ever visits, but it sounded more like performance than sincerity. Meanwhile, little Ariella, their youngest, complained that their old house was too small to play hide-and-seek. That old home was already 4,500 square feet, bigger than what most families ever dream of. It just showed how materialistic their mindset has become. Kody and Robyn are chasing size and status, not family connection. They keep pretending these homes are for family reunions, but the truth is, most of their children don't even visit, and they're not close to their grandkids. At the end, Robyn credited God for blessing them with this house, calling it a miracle. That part was the most frustrating. She once followed the prosperity gospel belief, the idea that if you pray for wealth or possessions, God rewards you. It's not faith, it's self-serving justification. Watching them turn luxury into a sign of divine approval felt tone-deaf and arrogant, especially when so many people they hurt are still picking up the pieces of their lives. It's shocking how Kody and Robyn call themselves Mormons while living in a way that goes completely against the Bible's teachings. One of the first lessons in Scripture is not to crave or envy what others have. The 10 Commandments literally say not to covet your neighbor's belongings, yet here they are bragging about a massive house and claiming God gave it to them. Greed is supposed to be a serious sin, but they treat it like a blessing. I couldn't stop thinking, why would God care about their million-dollar mansion when there are people struggling to pay rent, feed their kids, or keep their jobs? What exactly makes them feel entitled to this home? Maybe it's because they set up a trust fund to protect their money before everything fell apart, making sure no one else in the family could touch it. Maybe it's because they used funds that once belonged to Janelle and Meri, quietly funneling family money into their own pockets for years. Or maybe it's because they used the profits from their last mansion, money that allegedly came from everyone else, to cover up past financial problems. Either way, this house wasn't built on faith. It was built on manipulation and selfishness. What's worse is how Robyn seems to believe that God personally handed her the keys. She's convinced that every material thing she gets is a sign from above, like some divine reward for being faithful. But that's not faith, that's delusion. She follows a twisted version of religion where people believe they can pray for luxury and that God will grant it if they're good enough. It's what's known as the prosperity gospel, and it's the complete opposite of humility or gratitude. It turns faith into greed, making it sound holy to want more. And it's not just her attitude, it's their whole mindset. They treat this house as if it's a spiritual achievement, calling it their compound and saying it's where they'll build their family's future. But it's just another chapter in the same pattern, overspending, lying, and pretending it's destiny. Robyn already had a huge house, and even that wasn't enough. Now she has another, even bigger one, while pretending it's all part of God's plan. Meanwhile, regular people are facing real financial struggles, losing jobs, dealing with rising prices, and worrying about the future. Watching them celebrate this luxury feels insulting. They're completely disconnected from reality, living in a bubble of wealth and self-praise while the world around them struggles. Their new home doesn't erase the damage they've done. Every wall and window in that house represents betrayal, greed, and the pain of others they stepped on to get there. And the idea that moving will somehow cleanse them of bad memories is absurd. Everyone goes through hard times where they live. Pain doesn't vanish just because you switch locations. If you run from your problems instead of fixing them, you just carry them to the next place. Mark my words, within 5 years, they'll move again. They always do. And once the show ends and the money runs out, they won't be able to afford the lifestyle they're pretending to deserve. It's not a miracle. It's arrogance dressed as faith. Leave a comment below, give this video a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Don't forget to hit the bell so you never miss an update.